garden designer Manoj Maldi joins me to look at what we can do at home to help protect our gardens in the future. Reducing and conserving water is one way, water butts under every downpipe, but perhaps the secret weapon in coping with drier, hotter summers in our gardens lies in choosing drought-resistant plants that really love those very conditions. Welcome, Manoj, and you've got a heck of a display here.
Absolutely, and what I really want to show people, Alan, is that actually Mediterranean drought-resistant planting doesn't just mean silver foliage and little bits of green foliage. Look at the colours that you can get. Beautiful reds, the yellows of the Achillea, the purples. There is a huge selection of colour, and you can have a really colourful garden even though it's a drought-resistant garden.
And the grey's a good thing, though, because, I mean, it shows what plants do to reduce transpiration, water loss. And the hairs on that stachys there, that lamb's ears, that is a classic example of, you see a grey-leaf plant, it can probably cope with drought, so it's a good indicator.
It definitely can. And actually, the hairs on this, what it really does is, as the water is coming out of the leaves, it's creating a microclimate around the leaves, so it is conserving water. And equally so, when we look at things like rosemary, croquia and lavender, they've got smaller leaves. So what they're doing is, because there's a smaller surface area, again, there's water conservation going there.
Yeah, and of course they're from the Med, they love warm, and you get the aroma that much more strongly.
Absolutely.
When you've got the high temperatures. Yeah. This is pretty. A lot of people don't really know what this is or recognise it. It's called Gaura lindheimeri, and these lovely sort of butterfly-like flowers. You can see how many there are to come. We're at the end of summer now, and there's still lots to come on that little Gaura, G-A-U-R-A.
That is a beautiful, beautiful plant, and I have these growing in Crete. They get to about so tall, they will self-seed as well. And get the conditions right and you'll get new plants. Beautiful.
One that's been brilliant this summer, this is the shorter version of it. This is a version called Lollipop, which is glorious for Verbena bonariensis. Wonderful for butterflies and bees. They adore the nectaries on these flowers. And we've had hummingbird hawk moths coming to ours this
absolutely.
summer.
Yeah, and actually the whole selection here, Gaura will attract butterflies. Equally so will the salvia royal bumble. We
used to think that they were quite tender, and nowadays they come through most winters in most part of the country, those shrubby salvias, don't they?
These are Mexican salvias, so they are a shrub and they're really, really hardy, and they can take a good chop as well and they'll come back. So a brilliant plant to have in the garden.
I notice over here 2 large containers. You don't have to have a garden to plant your drought-resistant plants in. You can make a pot full of them as well. So I feel a bit of competition coming on.
I've given you some nice colours here.
I've been given these, no choice here. He chooses, But you've chosen some nice ones. Yeah.
What I love about using containers is the fact that I often say to my clients, let's get some perennials and some shrubs into pots, because once they die back, you can then put them into your borders and they'll come back the following year.
You give me a socking great pennisetum here, which I should get out of this pot. I'm going to have a pot full here. This is peat-free, multi-purpose compost for both of us. And you've got some grit there as well, which is quite useful for plants that really like sharp drainage.
Absolutely, and what it does is it just makes the soil more free draining.
You see, you've given me this so that nobody can see me. Really? Yeah, my pennisetum. Aren't they glorious, though, the seed heads on these ornamental grasses? Pennisetum.
And can you imagine, once that's in the border, once you've finished with the pots, how gorgeous that's going to look in your borders. It's just going to be absolutely stunning.
You're being a bit optimistic in assuming that I can get all 3 of these plants
push
in
that
here.
Alan, you'll be fine.
Well, it's not going to spend long in here, is it? So
no,
it's not as if I'm being cruel to it. You can get it out at the end.
Exactly.
But I do try and fill all the gaps, even when we're doing it for telly. And then finally...
This is a plant that I absolutely love.
Oh,
I use it so much in all of my planting schemes. Erigeron carvinskianis.
You only need to buy one, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Prolific self-seeder. Any little cracks you have in the paving, you're going to get some more growing. But it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And you can also use it as underplanting in containers. So it's a win-win.
It is a win-win. I'm juggling away with my Achillea here, this flat-headed yellow flower. Again, it's good to see architecture in a border or even in a pot and you've found it here. I don't know what that looks like from the front. Probably a right mess. Oh, it's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
But this is quite. Some of these achilles are quite statuesque. They'll come 3 or 4 feet high. It's coronation gold and gold plate, and you can see they form these flat umbrella-like heads. They've got sort of spokes underneath these flat flowers, and it gives you lovely horizontals in a vertical bed as well, doesn't it?
And it also gives you winter interest as well.
Yeah.
Even when they die back, you've still got that lovely shape. It holds its head. And that's what's so beautiful about it.
The same is true of grasses, of course, as well. This Pennisetum's a classic. I mean, it has, when it's out now, this glorious purple tinge and these whiskery flowers. I have a long, thin border full of grasses. I call it a ribbon border because it is really like a thin ribbon. And we leave the grasses once they've died back until about February before we cut them back. Because when the frost rimes them in the middle of winter, they look good. And they also offer protection for tiny little invertebrates and shrews and voles and things like that.
A lot of people tend to do that too early, and I tend to leave it till spring because, as you say, it provides protection for wildlife. So, and also just the new shoots that are going to start coming through. Better to wait till later than to chop it down all in autumn.
And be too tidy, in effect. And also, sometimes it's nice to look at decay is a part of life, isn't it, really, in a border? And yes, there comes that point, and I'm a fairly tidy gardener. There comes a point where you think, right, that's it, but that is generally is February. Come on, I'm clearing it now, it's coming out. But up to that point, you've ended up with a lovely scarlet shrubby salvia, pheasant tail grass, and your erigeron that'll seed itself everywhere. It's lovely between paving stones, that, isn't it? And I've got, I don't think quite such a felicitous arrangement of a purple Nepeta, the flat-headed achillea, and this lovely Pennisetum grass. Thanks, Manoj.